Hi guys, in this tutorial I would like to show you how to use a custom node, which is texture switch loop, what's gonna help you to create variation to instances without taking care about the number of instances and only get the number of limited texture that you want to use into your setup. So I'm gonna create something simple. I'm gonna create a plane. Okay, I'm gonna create instances and I'm gonna go for something big. Okay, that's it. And I'm gonna create cubes. One, but there's gonna be instances, so it's gonna be a couple of cubes. And of course, I'm gonna go to my live scene graph, grab my plane, connect it to my instances, create a quick setup of skylight. I don't know what my voice is doing that. Okay, connected the plane to the instances to drive the scales of the to drive the parenting of the procedural. So it's gonna drive the scale cube, and I'm gonna go for something like a couple of cubes, let's say 10. So as my square is gonna be as my square is gonna be 1 by 1 and a scale up. So I'm gonna get 10 cubes on my plane. And let's say that I don't want something too big, so okay, let's render. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cube. Okay, perfect. And on all these objects, I wanna giving a different color, so I can create surface here and say that the color is going to be randomized. So randomize color and say that it's going to be randomized. I'm just going to randomize the U version, but it's not going to work because all the object going to keep the same color, because what Guerilla is searching for variation on the ID attributes on the cubes. And right now there is only one ID attributes per for all the cubes. They are sharing the same ID attributes, because I didn't say to the procedural that I want to generate ID per instances. So I'm gonna go to instances and I'm gonna go back to attributes and say that I want to generate ID. And with that, right now, every cubes or every instances got an identification totally unique per instances. So I can have fun and say, okay, let's go for something crazy and switch to variation of saturation, random, and value, and I can go for more object and say, oh, okay, let's go crazy and got a shitload of cube. Okay, great. But this one is going to only drive variation in the color. I can go something more complex and use that and create a sub shader and connect map and variation on it. So I can say something like, okay, let's drag and drop it and randomize color. Okay. And say that I'm gonna use a texture tick, and I'm gonna pick something from the sample sets. Okay, I know it by heart, of course. Bing, 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 up, random. Here we go. So as you can see, I got variation into my asset totally automatically and driving everything, and I'm receiving messages from Gmail. So okay, bye. And what I can do, it's something different. I can say that I don't want to make variation of one map and just variation between random and U, saturation, value, and randomly. I want to use something more specified. I got a set of texture and I want to randomize it. What I can do is using a texture switch loop, which is a custom node that you can download in the description of this video. And I'm gonna go for something like that, drag and drop and create a subshader and say that it's something custom. So I want to load a node from somewhere else and say, okay, this is my node, I download it, I'm gonna connect it directly there, and it's for me already set up with a couple of texture just right there, like, okay. So as you can see, it's randomly distributing texture. Why? Because my ID, it's the same case as the texture switch, but right now it's saying that he's reading the ID attributes, and it's know that the limit of the texture, it's a full number, so it's a modulo, so it's gonna go back to the first one at the fifth one. And if I wanna do something funnier and say, okay, I got a couple of texture right there on this one. Okay, I'm gonna copy and pass my, oh, I already got something for the next tutorial, so let's say that's okay. So I'm gonna copy and paste, and I already prepared a couple of texture for having fun. So let's say that I need to remove some characters on it. So let's say that this one, 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 this one. I don't know exactly why Sublime Text is giving me this issue character, but that's fine. It's not gonna take that long. Okay, so what I say to Guerilla, it's say that I've got a 4 number pack texture, but in fact it's more than that. I've got a 24 pack texture. So let's say I just want to go for something like 10, and randomly Guerilla is reading from the ID another set of texture that you're gonna charge in RAM right now. Okay, so you're giving from 1 to 10, so let's say that we're gonna go for something crazier and say that we're gonna go for 23, and I've got already I guess 30 textures, so no, 23, and I got 30 instances, so it's gonna be wider in distribution. Okay, it's just charging RAM on my texture. So okay, and let's go for something crazier and getting something more. Let's say that we're gonna go for 100 cubes, and we want to get something smaller, so let's say that something like that. Beam. So I've got a more random spread. I spread more cubes and texture in it. So what is Guerilla is reading the ID. So synthesis, Guerilla is reading the ID of the instances I gave him, and it's using this node to picking from modulo number of texture, a texture between these 23 texture I've got, and is directly giving them to the instances. So easily I can create variation with something like, well, I was going pretty mad with pretty crazy with 23 texture. It's that's our super simple texture one. The only being for something like a couple of kilobytes. So that's super simple, but I can go for something more precisely in authoring, like a couple of texture, like 4 or 5 texture, and distribute them directly randomly into the instances I create, and it's gonna give me a lot of variation based on the unique ID generated by Guerilla.